Hey everyone, welcome back to our next video in the Mastering the Basics series. Last week we talked about our first video on stress. We had talked about how we have both good and bad stress, and there's no avoiding stress in our lives. There's only ways of mitigating it and trying to avoid having our stress bucket overflow from stress. So, with that framework in mind, that we have to find ways to avoid our stress bucket from becoming overflown and uh, leading to all the downstream consequences of having too much stress in our lives. We want to talk about some tools about how we can avoid that from happening. So, this first set of tools in this video here that we're going to talk about are really tools that you can use in the moment, right? You've hit in that point where stress has become too much. You're kind of feeling overloaded. You're feeling burnt out or just overwhelmed by all the stress in your life. And maybe you've gone through a very stressful period just acutely, and you just need a way to do something about it, right? And lots of times we find ourselves in the situation where we have a lot of stress and we don't even know what to do. Like we don't know how to handle things and how can we turn things around, right? So I think having a set of tools that you can use for in that moment, okay, I know I'm super stressed right here. I didn't avoid the bucket getting too full. It's already too full. I need a way to like get out of this situation in the moment. What can I do to avoid turning to something that maybe not so good for us or not doing the health habits that we know we should be doing? And so this video here is going to be about how do we, some of those tools that we can use in the moment, right? So the first one that I want to talk about, and it's probably one of the more powerful ones, I think, in my mind, is using your breath. Right. Um, Lots of our body reacts when we're in stress, and some things get turned on that we don't even realize that we're doing. And then if we can reverse those, consciously change some of these things, then it can send a signal to our body to relax and calm down a little bit. And one of those things is the way you breathe, right? If you think about how you're going to breathe if you were to be chased by an animal that was trying to eat you for lunch, you'd be just all out sprinting, breathing through your mouth, breathing through as hard as you possibly can. And lots of times when we get stressed, whether it's because we just had a tough conversation with our spouse or we got some kind of bad news or whatever, we find ourselves subconsciously breathing through our mouths. And even though we don't have to, right? It's just our body perceives stress and automatically turns on these physiological processes that then cause us to breathe through our mouths. So if we can recognize the fact that we're breathing through our mouths because we're stressed, then we can change that, right? So we can, because you're not being chased by a tiger, you don't need to suck in as much oxygen as you possibly can into your body, or get rid of as much carbon dioxide. That's a whole other discussion. But you can, because you're just sitting there, or standing or whatever, you can change the way you're breathing, and that can send a signal to your body to tell it to calm down and relieve some of that stress in the moment. So just by, if you find yourself stressed and you find yourself breathing through your mouth, closing your mouth. Step number one, just close your mouth. Try to breathe through your nose, right? Just breathe through your nose. Even if you're breathing pretty fast, breathe through your mouth, breathe through your nose, and that will send a signal that to your body that everything's okay. You're not being chased by an animal. You can calm down a little bit. Then you can start to slow your breath down, right? If you find you're breathing pretty rapidly or faster than you normally would, start counting how long you're inhaling and exhaling. So just breathing in for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, breathing in for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds. That will also help. That will should further calm you down and relieve a little bit of stress. Then you can try and extend that exhale out a little bit longer than the inhale. So you can breathe in for 4 seconds and breathe out for 6 seconds, and breathe in for 4 seconds and breathe out for 6 seconds, right? And then you can push that a little bit further, maybe breathe out for 8 seconds, right? Then you can take it to the next level. You can do some what's called box breathing, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and you repeat that over and over again. And then you can start playing, extending the exhales on that on your box breaths, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, Hold your breath for 4 seconds, breathe out for 6 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and repeat that cycle a little bit longer. And you'll find yourself whenever you're in a stressful situation, if you can start to control your breath and how you're breathing and self-regulate that, then you'll instantly relieve a lot of stress. That's my number one tool. There's also something called a physiologic sigh that Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about, a lot about. And it's basically sucking in as much air as you possibly can into your lungs, and suck in a little bit more, and then breathe that all out nice and slow and gentle. And that sighing kind of process is known to relax people too. There's a great video in the blog post that I'm going to link to with this video that of him showing you how to do this. If you need a visual, how to do that, or you can just Google physiologic side in his Andrew Huberman, and it'll come up. The next thing that you can control that often happens when you're very stressed is your gaze becomes very narrow, right? So again, if you think of if you were to be chased by an animal trying to eat you, your gaze is going to become very narrowly focused on what's happening in front of you, the situation that's going on, right? You're not going to be paying attention to the birds over here, or the trees, or the pretty flowers, or where the sun is, or all these other things, because you're in a life or death situation. So you're very focused on what's going on right now. And so again, when you're stressed because you got in an argument, or you had some bad news, or something happened at work, or whatever, your kids are driving you insane, whatever the situation might be, your gaze becomes very focused and narrow on what's happening in front of you. So if you can take a step back after maybe working on your breath a little bit, and then widen your gaze to look into the horizon. The best thing is to do go outside, honestly. In this situation, we're going to talk about this in the next one, but go outside, so you have more to look at, and you can start to widen your gaze out a little bit and look at the horizon, look at other things. And that, because again, will send a signal to your body that, okay, I'm not in this stressful situation. I don't need to have this stressful, you know, this focus on this one thing, and that can send a signal to your body to calm down and relax. And then, like I said, the next thing to do on this list would be to get outside. Right? If you ever heard of this term called forest bathing, it's I believe it's made popular by the Japanese. They call it. There's a Japanese word for it, which I have no idea what it is, but I know there's a Japanese word for it. I've heard it before. Um, Anyways, it basically translates to forest bathing, like going outside in nature. Basically, what that means. And there's a lot of research around just being outside. Again, probably because it can widen your gaze, but also getting some sun in your body, listening to the sounds of nature, not being distracted. So don't go outside, stare at your phone, or go outside, your your AirPods in, listening to something or whatever. You want to make this as relaxing as possible. So getting outside just without technology and taking in nature, going for a walk, moving your body, and just getting some sun on you, looking at the things around you, listening to nature outside, that type of stuff. And even this has even shown to work, like if you live in a big city, get to a park, right? Someplace with a little bit of nature around you, right? You don't have to be in the forest, literally. It's called forest bathing, but it really just means go outside and just be outside in nature, be disconnected, and spend a few minutes outside. And that's also been shown to relieve stress as well. The next tool in your toolbox should be to connect with others. So find someone you can talk to, like vent to. Like how good does it feel when you have something on your mind that's been super stressful, something's happened, that you can find someone to just vent it out, right? Just talk to someone about, right? Social connection is a very powerful thing for a number of reasons, and one of those reasons is because you have someone to confide in, someone to talk through things, and a mentor, someone that you can go to say, "This is what's happened. I just need to talk to someone about it," and just spew it all out. And I guarantee you'll feel much better about that, right? And even if you don't talk to them, right? I think uh, because it's going to get your mind off of whatever's stressing you out, right? So going out with friends and just hanging out, right? And just hanging out with people and doing some other type of activities are going to get your mind off that stressful thing, that stressful situation. Maybe give you some space to calm down and relax and think about things a little bit more. So I would definitely say connecting with others has a number of benefits, even if you don't talk about the thing that's bothering you potentially. And then finally, when you're in a stressful period of your life, stress self care, right? Lots of people carry around a lot of stress, and they also are, someone that takes care of others, right? Is a provider to their family, and sometimes you have to prioritize yourself and just get a break and take care of yourself before you take care of others, right? Like that cliche about putting the oxygen mask on first before you put it on anyone that needs help with it, right? In an airplane, but same thing, right? You need to take care of yourself so you can show up for the others that you want to take care for, right? So personally, my wife and I have this very, set in stone rule that, like, if I know she's having a tough time with someone, I'll tell her, hey, you go do your thing for a day. Like, I'll take care of the kids. We'll get out of the house, whatever. You don't have to do anything. I'll take care of the laundry and all the other stuff that needs to get done, and you can go and chill and relax. And she does the same for me when I'm having a tough time with whatever, and I need a break for myself. And she can see that, and she'll say, hey, you can go take some time for yourself, and I'll take care of pick up these things that you normally would take care of, and give each other a little bit of space. So you know find a way to take care of yourself. And if you're someone that is really taking care of other people, whether it's kids or significant others or older parents or grandparents or family members or whatever, sometimes it's hard, but you have to take some time for yourself to take care of yourself, to go on that walk outside, to do an activity that you enjoy, to go get a massage or whatever you find relaxing, right? Whatever self-care practice you find beneficial, like, take some time for yourself to go and do that, and that's going to help relieve a lot of stress. So those are, like, in the trenches, like in the moment, you're in this stressful situation, you need some way to relieve that stress. That's what you do. So in summary, we have a number of different tools in our toolbox that we can use. So we want to work on our breath, breathe through your nose, slow your inhales and exhales down, try some box breathing, look up how to do a physiological sigh. Those are all great ways to control your breath and relieve some of that stress. Widen your gaze, look to the horizon. Don't narrowly focus on things. Then we said get outside, which goes hand in hand, widening your gaze. You can see the horizon, you can see the trees, you can see the forest, you can see the animals, that type of stuff. Bathe in that sunlight. Then you want to connect with others, whether it's to vent or to just take your mind off what's happening. Find someone friends you can confide in and tell them about what's going on, or just hang out and talk about something else besides what's stressing you out. Then finally, self-care, right? We want to be able to take care of before we take care of others. So do something to enjoy and to relax. Take some time to do that in stressful times, and it's more important in those times than it is in other times. And find a way to inject some self-care into your life in that moment, and allow you to de-stress a little bit. So next week, we're going to continue our videos on stress, and we're going to talk about trying to avoid getting to this point, right, where we're overly stressed, and some tools you can use to do that. So if you want to keep up with this series on mastering the basics and check out the next video, please go ahead and scan that QR code in the upper left. Maybe it's your upper right. I think it's your upper left. Upper left-hand corner of the video here. Scan that QR to my website where you can sign up for the letter. Just enter your email address there, and I will email you when the next video is available, as well as all the other content that I put out. It's probably the best way to keep in touch, frankly. And so go ahead and do that. And if you need help with any of these mastering the basic topics, please again go to my website rjbhealth.coach. Click on schedule a discovery call button right on the homepage, and fill out the form, and I'll get back to you, and we can chat about doing some one-on-one coaching if that's something you're interested in. With that, I hope everyone has a great weekend, and for all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day, and I will chat to you all next week.